All right, so we're gonna talk about our top 10 centers in the NBA right now. All right, you ready? You got your list ready?
Shit. All right, bet.
You got your list? How do you want to do this? You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I could go first. I'm gonna just give an honorable mention some of the centers that didn't make my list, right outside of the top 10. You don't have to, but I went ahead and did it anyways.
Yeah.
I wanted to show Jared Allen some love, just outside of my list. Obviously, one of your favorite centers. Miles Turner, one of my favorite centers. He didn't make my list either. And Steven Adams. Steven Adams is a very
solid. Definitely very solid.
I feel like he can be very impactful if he's on the right team, but the Pelicans just wasn't the team for him.
So,
yeah, very very solid center. So, anyways, let's go right into my top 10. At number 10, 10 and 9 was like I kept debating over. On the way here, I was like shit, but I went ahead and put Clint Capella.
Oh, okay.
Why, is he higher on your list? Or
he's a little higher on my list. All right, not too much higher, but he's high on my list.
We'll debate about it a little bit, but so Clint Capella, here's what I think about him. He's a much improved defender. That's why I wanted to put him a little higher.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a much improved defender. Just offensively, he's a little bit limited. He's mostly a putback or a lob threat. But other than that, like, you can't really give him the ball, and he's not gonna, be an elite isolation post player.
Yeah,
he's a very good defender. Very quick. Kind of plays like free safety down the paint.
Yeah,
block shots, and he's an elite rebounder. One of the best rebounders in the league.
Okay.
Who's your number 10?
My number 10, I got Jonas Valentinas.
That's my number 9.
That's your number 9?
I don't even have anything to argue with you.
I'm like, dude, he's right there.
On the way here, I was debating. Like, I actually have Valanciunas at 10, but then I was switching it around all morning.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I'm putting Valanciunas. I was like, oh, okay, Clint Capella. Yeah, I got Valanciunas at 10.
Wait, so is number 9 Clint Capella?
No, my number 9 is
all right, let's not get to that yet. So basically, like, my thought process. So my number 9 is Valanciunas already. My thought process is that Valanciunas. So if you're looking at offense, Valanciunas is miles ahead of Clint Capella, in my opinion. Even though they average the same amount of points, I feel like Valanciunas does more, where he doesn't limit the offense as much as Clint Capella does. So like we seen in the Rockets where Russell Westbrook needed his spacing, and that's why the Rockets had to trade Clint Capella for Robert Covington. So Valanciunas, we see him dominate the paint at times.
Yeah.
He has 20 games, 30-20 games. He definitely dominates the paint, but what I like about him is he can also stretch the floor. He's a 40% three-point shooter last season, and he's a pretty good rim protector as well. He isn't as quick as Capella, which is why Capella could get the edge, because Capella switches a little bit better than Valanciunas does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just gave Jonas Valentinas the slight edge because of like his offensive versatility.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree. I just decided Jonas Valentinas was decent. I feel like he's pretty good, but I just feel like there's just better room as a big man. I just feel like there's like I'm not gonna say like we don't need the big man to be doing too much, but putting up double doubles is pretty insane. Like double point, double rebound. As a big man, I feel like that's like the standard. Like, okay, you kind of need to do that to like kind of like succeed as a big man. But I just feel like running plays off him I feel like he's more of a like he'll score first, like for himself, compared to like Clint Capella, where teammates alley-oop it to him, or like he passes it up because he doesn't really. Honestly, he doesn't have really a post game, but his post game is pretty weak for Clint, I guess, as like a big man. But yeah, I put Jonas Valanciunas as my number 10 pick.
All right. So who's your number 9 then? Because I already gave up my number 9.
Yeah, my number 9.
Our list is different already if you don't have Clint at number 9.
So. Yeah, mine is not Clint at number 9. Number 9, I feel like I might be biased because he was injured for most of the season. It's Christian Wood.
I listed him as a power forward. I didn't even have him in my list.
Oh, really?
Basketball Reference, he's a center, but yeah. So I'll tell you where I would put Christian Wood.
Okay.
He's probably gonna be in my power forward list when we get that done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I put him as a center because I kind of assumed he played center because I was like, okay, you play center. Like, who else wasn't fucking Kelly?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. He did play center this year. It's just that like every single year he's played power forward, and then next season I kind of expect him to play power forward, but
That's true. I see that.
he didn't have Sengun, so I don't know, but yeah, Christian Wood is a pretty good pick.
That's my
Yeah,
number
I
9.
should say because he's not in my list, but he's definitely above Valanciunas and Clint Capella, so I agree with you.
Yeah, I feel like well, I have Clint pretty like not pretty high, but he's like a little ahead. But yeah, I put Christian Wood just because he was doing really, really good until his injury. But I just like I don't want to just take away all that because I know like, some people might start the season well and they just go downhill. Christian, I feel like he would definitely be higher on my list. I just feel like yeah, the Rockets were also tanking, because they didn't want to, they didn't want to keep playing John Wall anymore. Christian Wood was just kind of just taken out to rest his ankle. That's kind of why I have him on number 9. He's definitely going to be higher because I know he's really good, but I feel like he's definitely going to be higher if he wasn't injured and played a little bit more. Yeah, but that's my number 9. We're gonna do my number 8.
Let's go with my number 8 real quick, and then we'll compare. But my number 8 could be recency bias because
I think I know who number 8 is.
performance. Always deal with injury problems. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I think I know what you're talking about.
I have Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, no, never mind. I didn't have that. I didn't have that dude.
Is he not in your list?
He's not on my list.
All right. Is he? He's probably gonna be your power forward list then, right?
Maybe. No, like I considered putting him into this list, but I just feel like he just wasn't performing that good.
So yeah, so this is why I feel like he could be a lot higher because we've seen him play at like an all-star level before.
Yeah, we've seen him do really good. I just don't know what's going on.
I can see why you left him out the list because like he was just so horrific in the playoffs. Like, oh my god, he was probably like their 4th best player.
He getting outscored by Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't know what to tell you, man.
I mean, Tim Hardaway was doing really good, but yeah, you should be averaging close to 20 as a second option.
Yeah.
I just feel like Kristaps, his regular season, he was pretty good. I mean, he was putting up pretty good numbers. It was just he was just getting injured a lot. And then in the playoffs, he did really bad. I guess I just had him this high up because of like what I've seen from him previously, and I don't believe he's took a big decline. It's just that I feel like once he gets fully healthy and then he figures out his role in Dallas, I feel like he'll still be a elite player.
Most definitely.
So you got something else to add about Kristaps?
Yeah, I just feel like if he learns, because I feel like when he was in New York, he was like more ball dominant, like he was running up the floor with the ball. But now with Luka,
it was a lot more physical too.
Yeah, maybe exactly.
He's scared to get injured, but bro, if Patrick Beverly or Reggie Jackson is guarding you, you gotta just take it to the cup.
Yeah, like bro, they're not stopping. Yeah, I know Patrick Beverly will be a little bitch, he's a menace, dude, but like still.
He was taking fadeaways, like post fadeaways.
Yeah, I remember. I was like, Porzingis was usually really good, but I don't know what happened. Like, obviously, the injury may have done something, but if he was on my list, I feel like I would just put him above Jonas Valentinas. Jonas Valentinas would probably be like number 11.
I mean, Jonas Valentinas has been playing better than Porzingis. I feel like people don't really talk about it, but Valanciunas didn't have a good playoff performance last year either.
Yeah.
Obviously he was going up against Gobert, but besides John Morant in that playoff series, no one really helped him.
Yeah, that's true. All right, before my number 8, I have Deandre Ayton.
All right, Deandre Ayton is your number 8. I have no problems with that because
number 8.
Yeah. Wow, so you have Clint Capella over Deandre Ian. That's gonna be
interesting. Yeah, I do.
We'll hear your explanation on that, but I have no problems because Deandre Ian is my number 7.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now. Yeah, Clint Capella's my number 7.
Okay, so go ahead, talk about Deandre Ian, what you think about him, and then
I feel like in the beginning of the season he was doing like okay. He was like pretty. He wasn't like bad. Yeah, but
I expected a lot better.
Yeah, and I feel like when he started doing when he got confident playing with the team, like he understood his role a lot better, what he needs to do, when he needs to attack the rim, when he needs to, because he did a really, really good post game, and I feel like he's a good free throw shooter too. Like people found he'll take it to the line. But I have DeAndre Ayton pretty high up there just because at the end, like I'm gonna say like near the end of the season in playoff time, he was really a big factor in pushing and like pulling the Suns into a win. I feel like every game he averaged around like what, over 15 points and like over 10 rebounds. Like he's doing double every single night in the playoff as such a young player. I feel like he's really, really good and he has potential to keep growing. And that's kind of why I put him above at number 8. Like I feel like he's decent. He's like gonna keep improving, and like his ceiling is not he's not at his ceiling yet. You know, he's not like where most players are like, okay, that's their ceiling, that's their prime, there's a peak. But I feel like DeAndre Ayton is open to learn, open to get better, and that's kind of why I put him up here at number 8. But yeah, and then number 7, Clint Capella. You know,
Let me give my little reasoning why I put Clint Capella at number 7.
okay. I mean, you mean like Ayton at number 7, right? Or
who did I say?
You said Clint Capella at number 7. I have him at number 7.
Yeah, I have Ayton at number 7.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, what?
DeAndre Ian, if this was like in the beginning of the season, he might have been number 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
But I try not to go based off of recency bias. He just had a great, not great, but he had a very good playoff run for his age. Definitely, third-year player. The reason why I believe he's gonna keep this same level of play that he showed in the playoff, and I'm gonna take his early season struggles with a grain of salt, mainly because he was kind of more free and able to do what he wanted before Chris Paul came. But when Chris Paul came onto the team, he kind of has to adapt to how Chris Paul plays. He kind of has to cut the way Chris Paul wants him to cut, which is a good thing because he's learning from one of the great point guards.
Yeah.
But it was just more of like a learning, adjusting his game, and then he kind of just I feel like he figured it out in the playoff, and I'm expecting for him not to revert back to his old style of playing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was just more of like a learning curve. Like we see a lot of players, when a lot of young players transition to these like great point guard or great systems, we kind of see like Kelly Oubre, when he first joined the Warriors, he was a 4% 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
See, he's obviously not a 4% 3-point shooter, right? He improved to 30-something%. It was just more like adjusting into a role. And I feel like DeAndre Ian is now adjusted, and we should expect higher level of play in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, is that it for DeAndre Ayton?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me know why Clint Capella is above these guys.
Obviously, I put Clint Capella above DeAndre Ayton and above Christian Valentinas just because the Hawks had a great run. I'm just saying the Hawks had a great fucking run. Taking out Julius Randle and taking out Joel Embiid with just Trae Young and Clint Capella. I feel like Clint Capella did extremely, extremely well playing in that pressure, especially when you're going against, Joel Embiid, who is on top of my list, right? Literally on top of my list. And in beating him just shows me that Clint Capella can and will do better, like can perform to that level, right? Like he had a lot of time where he blocked Joel Embiid, posted him up, even dunked on him. Like I was like, yo, this guy look like fucking Shaq out here. Like what the hell is he doing? Like, this guy's insane, right? And I just see that I mean, obviously there might be some recency bias, but I said overall, like in the season, like what he averaged about 15, and he averaged a league best of 14 rebounds and 2 blocks a game, that means like he's good defensively and he performed well offensively. And I feel like he fits the play style, even back when the Rockets day, like when he was with James Harden, he was like that lob threat, like he was that, if you double Harden, you're going to get dumped. Like you're going to give a big man easy way in, right? Like you can't double. And I feel like that Clint Capella played a really, really good role in allowing for Trae to keep dropping 35, 40 points a night to basically bring the Hawks to, to beat Knicks and the 76ers. I feel like this just shows me that, Capella did really, really good in this run. I mean, obviously they lost, to the Bucks, but like it's Giannis, but you can't do anything about that. But yeah, that's kind of the reason why I feel like Capella really, really like solidified his role. It wasn't just like, oh, he did well in the Rockets because he was playing with James Harden. But he's shown that he can play well with Trae Young, who's the villain of the league. Everyone doesn't like him for some reason. This guy's cool as fuck. But I feel like Clint Capella shows that him and Trae Young can actually do something. I mean, obviously I'm not take take fucking credit away from like John Collins and like like fucking the other dudes, but
Bogdanovich.
yeah, Bogdanovich, yeah, that's his name. I forgot his name. Yeah, Bogdanovich. Yeah. But I feel like Clint Capella really established himself as hey, I'm a top 10 center of this league. I can and will like take it in if I need to, and that's kind of why it's that Clint Capella up there. I mean, he didn't just start bad. He did well overall and continue to do well even in the playoffs, and that's kind of why I kind of picked him over DeAndre Ayton because he was able to do all this, with just Trae Young and Bogdanovich, John Collins. DeAndre Ayton, in my opinion, he had Chris Paul, Devin Booker that really, really helped shape him and actually grow and help him score. But I feel like Trae Young and Clint Capella and who's the next player, Bogdanovich, John Collins. I feel like it shows a lot that what the big man can do in the paint, and that's kind of why I have Capella at number 7 for me.
Yeah, for me, I think Clint Capella is probably like the best center role player. But the reason why I have like those guys ahead of him is because like let's see who let me find my list again. Okay, so I had Ayton, Porzingis, Jonas. So those guys are above him for me. You're right though. Clint Capella is better at being that role player, and we're seeing Kristaps really struggle being a role player.
Yeah, exactly.
But these guys, they're still role players, but we've seen glimpses where they can be the scoring option. They could be the first or second scoring option. I feel like in the Hawks, although Clint Capella does get points, you're not running your offense.
Yeah, to him, yeah.
And he kind of needs like someone to set him up. And you did bring up a point where like, oh, he did well with Rockets and it transitioned well to the Hawks, but it's also because Trae Young and James Harden play style was not too much different.
Yeah, it's not too much different, like
they're both step back shooters, and that if you get up on them too close, they'll drive and do a floater or take it in, and if you double, they'll lob it up to Capella. So
yeah,
I mean, it's not too much different. But I feel like if Clint Capella has that person to set him up, the reason why I just have those guys above him is because I feel like those guys are a little bit more versatile. So if
they have more scoring options, basically, right?
There's not that many Trae Young and James Hardens in the league. So if Clint Capella goes on another team, I feel like Jonas Valentinas or Porzingis or Ayton might have they've shown that they can adjust to other play styles. Like we've seen Deandre Ian before having Chris Paul on the team, he was still averaging like 18, 19. He definitely improved. Like I feel like he learned to be more of a role player than like a second scoring option.
Exactly.
But that's why I have Ayton above Clint Capella because I feel like he's kind of like figured out how to be both a scoring option and like a role player.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, definitely Ayton. But also I put Capella in. I just swapped Clint and Ayton like literally like 10 minutes before the podcast. I was like, yo, I'm just swapping real quick. I put Clint Capella above Ayton just because, little, I guess a little hindsight, hindsight bias of what he did in the playoffs. Right. Ayton obviously did really well, but I just felt like they're just right there neck and neck. But yeah, that's probably it. And what's your number 6? I'm gonna take a shot at dark. I'm saying number 6 is Bam.
No, it's not.
Oh my God! All right, go for it.
Bam's in my top 5. So,
okay.
So number 6, might be controversial. I swear, like I don't listen to the internet hate. Obviously, like people hate Simmons right now, and people hate Gobert. Right? Gobert's number 6 for me. Gobert's an all-star. Many people have him. Some people might even have him top 3, but I do have him number 6. I feel like he's obviously probably the best defender we've seen in the past since prime Dwight Howard.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe even better than that. He's 3-time defensive player of the year. It's just he limits the offense by clogging up the paint because he can't stretch the floor. And it's not like you can really you can't run an offense through Gobert either because he's not that proficient in the post. His only scoring option is the lob threat. And then defensively, he's obviously, stats don't lie when you see the defensive plus minus, leads the league in defensive win shares as well. But we kind of see like in the playoffs, he's been, it isn't the first time he was exposed in the playoffs. In the playoff basketball is a lot different from regular season. Regular season, players just kind of go through the motion, and these young players try hard. obviously to prove themselves. In the playoff, everything's a lot more methodical. If you have a clear weakness, it will get exposed in the playoff.
Yeah,
And we
like
saw that this year, the Clippers and Jazz series, the Jazz, the number 1 seed, fully healthy, lost to the Clipper team without Kawhi Leonard. And, Gobert is a main reason why, because Tyronn Lue figured out Gobert.
not guards.
He can't guard guards, and it's not gonna affect me too much if I go out there and run 5 wing players, because Gobert is not gonna dominate in the post, right? If the other team had Shaq, yes, Shaq can't guard guards, right? But none of your guards are gonna be able to guard Shaq
Yeah.
at the same time. Gobert, yeah, sure, no guards are gonna be able to guard Gobert, but Gobert's not dominating those guards the way Shaq does.
Okay.
So we seen Tyronn Lue make the adjustment. Hey, let me put you're gonna have to guard Paul George or one of these players. If not, then you have to guard Terrence Mann. And Terrence Mann ended up dropping 40. And mainly because you can't guard guards. Terrence Mann was getting open jump shots, and then he was hitting open threes. Gobert stepped up, and then he just got sauced. So, it's mainly the defensive versatility.
Yeah.
Limits him on defense, which he's good at, but he was exposed on defense.
Yeah.
And we've seen this 2 years ago, the Jazz versus Rockets series. I'm not gonna, I am gonna take it with a grain of salt because it was James Harden. Like, every center is gonna get crossed over by James Harden, but it was so effortless. Like, James Harden literally ran a pick and roll to
get. I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
And then it was every possession. James Harden just, you're too far. Now you're too close. Let me just run by you.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there's no center that's going to keep up with James Harden that well. Maybe Bam's going to do the best he can, but I mean, it was just so easy for Harden to do that. And that's why I have, Gobert at 6. People expect him higher, but limited on offense, and then defensively, where he's really good at, it's kind of, the value of his defense is kind of dropping for me just because of his versatility and his obvious weaknesses.
Yeah, okay, I see that.
Who do you have at 6?
I have Bam at 6.
Bam, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So go ahead, talk about Bam, and tell me why you think Gobert is better than Bam. I'll give you the opposite.
Yeah, I have Gobert above Bam, of course, but I just feel I feel like I don't want to say it's like, because Bam, he was a very, very dominant defender, and like he could run offense really well. I obviously put him, above all the other dudes, but I put him below Gobert just because I feel like, I know Bam made all defensive team as well. He did really well, but I just feel like Bam's play style like shines with the Heat. Like, how like the Heat, yeah, you agree with that, right? Yeah. I just feel like he shines with the Heat, but I feel like I wouldn't say he's like a liability, but more so like I feel like he's just an average center, in my opinion. He's just an average center, but he knows his role, he knows what he needs to do. Like there's a lot of times where the Heat need a bucket. And usually, if you're able to like give it up to your big man to it's usually an easy like post up and dunk or post up fade. I just feel like Bam kind of struggled after the season, after the bubble, to do that. I know in the bubble he was going crazy, like he was hitting fadeaways on like on the centers and stuff. But in the season, I feel like he just was not performing to his peak. I'm not sure if he was injured. Was he injured? He get injured?
He had some injuries, but he didn't have any major injuries.
Yeah, no major injuries. That's why I was kind of surprised, because I honestly thought the Heat was gonna, I want to say he's gonna beat the Bucks again, but I feel like the Heat just wasn't able to put up a fight because of Bam. Like Jimmy Butler did everything he could. I know he averaged.
Jimmy Butler sucked. Jimmy Butler sucked.
I know, but yeah, Jimmy Butler did what he could, but. I don't know. Jimmy Butler averaging a triple double when you is like pretty crazy compared to like, okay, you have a big man, which is Bam, like you're supposed to grab the offensive boards, even the defensive boards, but he just wasn't able to do it. Obviously, because he's against Giannis, but there's a lot of times where I feel like Bam should have excelled, like when he's playing against like easier centers that he can bully with his little jumper. Because I feel like he's a pretty good jump shooter as a center. Like he has a little mid range, but I feel like he just didn't perform to where I kind of expected him to, and that's kind of why. Like it could be hindsight. Like I said, I do have a lot of like recency bias for these guys, but and I just hope it's not like a slump. So, but I do have Bam at 6. That's where my Bam is at.
Bro, I have Bam, higher. This is why I think Bam better than Gobert though. Defensively, Gobert is the better regular season defender.
Fair enough.
Playoffs, Bam, he's not as good as a rim protector as Gobert is. Gobert alters shot better, but Bam is still up there as one of the best. So you're giving up a little bit of rim protection, but you're getting defensive versatility, so for me, I would take Bam over Gobert on defense, right?
Yeah, I could understand. Obviously you would say playoffs games worth more than regular season. I just see
that. I mean, it might sound crazy because like he's the 3-time defensive player of the year, but defensive player of the year is a regular season award, and we've seen Bam defensive impact in the playoff is pretty good.
Yeah.
Offensively, you mentioned that Bam is kind of average. In my opinion, I think Gobert is less than average.
The only reason why I put Gobert so high is, obviously, he's not really higher than Bam, but it's like there. He's not top 3 on my list, so you kind of guess that. But yeah, I kind of just Gobert, like I said, I feel like in the league at the moment, right? Like Bam just does extremely well because he's not like a tall center. He just long and he can guard guards, which is really, really important, especially when right now we kind of have a guard-based, like meta. I would say like meta in NBA, where like you kind of need a scoring guard, or else you can't just have like a big man. Like, obviously, AD is an exception because he's crazy. Like AD's, he can hit fadeaway jumpers. Obviously, I didn't put AD here because I'm playing him as a power. Yeah. But yeah, in my opinion, I feel like Bam just does well, but I feel like there are times where he just couldn't perform when he needed to. Like I know like Gobert tried, like obviously Terrence Mann dropped 40 on his head. I'm not gonna say like he fucking sucks, but like Gobert, I don't know. I put him a little higher than Bam just because he could have some recency bias. Like I know he sucked during the fucking Clippers and Jazz, but
I mean both centers kind of sucked in the playoff. Like Bam wasn't doing that either. So,
but yeah, that's kind of how I have Bam at 6 though.
Another reason though, like I noticed you also mentioned like Bam's kind of like he's only you didn't say he's only successful, but like he benefits from being in that Heat system.
Yeah,
which is true. But I feel like we kind of seen I know USA basketball is different, international basketball is different, but even if he's not benefiting from that Miami Heat system and offensively, he's still very scrappy and gets he's still very impactful.
Yeah,
getting offensive rebounds. And I think what really puts him above the edge, above Gobert, not only is he more versatile on offense than Gobert is, but I feel like Bam is probably, obviously behind Jokic, he's probably a top 5 playmaking center. He can take the ball up the court and he makes the right passes. I can't really say the same about that for Gobert. I don't think Gobert is an elite playmaker at all, but for the center position, I feel like Bam is one of the better playmakers. That's why I have Bam over.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay. So
but Bam is not number 5 for me either. That's crazy, right?
That's crazy.
He's number 4. So
I assume he'd be number 4. Basically, me and you have Gobert and Bam swap. I know who your number 5. I'm assuming your number 5 is from the Chicago Bulls, or no?
Yep. I have Vucevic.
Yeah, same here.
Vucevic above Gobert. Like I kept debating about this. I just feel like Vucevic's offensive versatility is so good because he can dominate the paint. He can get offensive rebounds, putbacks on smaller guards and smaller matchups. But, he can also spread the floor. He's a very good 3-point shooting center. Yeah. Defensively, obviously not even in the same league as Gobert.
Yeah.
Gobert is not in the same league as Vucevic offensively either.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But, Gobert is like the best defender and Vucevic is not the best offensive player. So
Yeah.
this is why I kind of just prefer Vucevic a little bit more. Just
Yeah.
personal preference, I
Yeah,
guess.
personal preference.
Maybe because Vucevic went crazy for fantasy for me.
That's true. That's true. I mean,
I don't know.
somebody got Joel Embiid for Vucevic, man. I don't even know how you did that.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, Vucevic is number 5, but I don't really have an argument if you put Gobert in front of him. It's just preference for me.
Yeah, I have Gobert on top of him. I kind of already explained it,
Wait,
Gobert
do you have Vucevic at 5 for you too?
Yeah, Vucevic
Okay,
at
we
5.
both have Vucevic.
Yeah, that's kind of I feel like that's kind of where he's at, like at number 5. Like his offensive game opens the floor for his team, but he is kind of like not necessarily defensive liability, but his defense is not
a defender at all. Yeah. Oh, he has pretty good playmaking as well.
Yeah. So yeah, number 4 is Gobert.
Not bad. We already kind of went through it. So
yeah.
Top 3 should be the same. You better not have Jared Allen in your top 3.
Oh yeah, number 3 is my boy, the one and only Jared Allen. I'm pretty sure I know what your number 3 is too. I mean, number 3, 2, and 1 should be pretty obvious unless you kind of swapped it. But number 3 for me is Cat. What about you?
Yeah, Cat. So a lot of people they go through recency bias. They might not have Cat even in their top 5. So let's explain why Cat deserves to be number 3. You want to go ahead first, or?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go off of his stats alone. Even though he was out a lot of time, dude, just think about it. This year he got hit by a fucking he was on his motorcycle, got hit, right? His mom passed away. He got COVID, and despite all that mental challenge, mental barriers, he missed a lot of games. But when he came back, he was going crazy. Like this guy, I still had him on my list, on my fantasy. He was like top, dude. He was crazy. Like this guy.
And he was playing through the Timberwolves system, which is
exactly. I was like, bro, what the this guy, dude. Cat is hands down, dude, he's probably not my favorite center to watch, but definitely he's up there. Cat, he can shoot threes. What was it? What did he average? He averaged 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists on 49% shooting, even though he didn't play the full season, right? Because what happened. But this guy, Cat, I mean, I've seen multiple arguments before, they would choose, there's a lot of GMs that would want Cat to build their team around. Cat is just that big man that can do defense and offense. He's kind of like Vucevic and Gobert combined, but just not as good. I feel like he has the offensive game like Vucevic, and he also has defensive game like Gobert. But I feel like he's just very, very good overall player. The overall center, he's really, really good. He understands what he needs to do. There's not something he really struggles in. I feel like because he can shoot the 3 ball, right? You leave wide open in the corner, he's gonna knock it down. You try a double, he can run in for a lob. I feel like he covers all the bases as a really, really solid big man. That's kind of why I'm on number 3 for me.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. Basically, I just feel like he doesn't get that much attention anymore because the Timberwolves are on the bottom, and also because he's out for so long.
Yeah,
I feel like when he is healthy, he can definitely compete with Jokic and Embiid. I feel like he could be in that level, in that conversation. Yeah. I feel like when he's healthy, he's barely playing any games, but when he does play, we see how productive he is.
Yeah.
I feel like if you get a right system around him, he's kind of like Devin Booker and Levine in the fact that they're just playing in bad situations. So you put a better situation around him and you get him healthy. I'm sure he's in the top 2 conversation, but for now,
even top 2, I agree.
The top 2 guys have proven to already do it in that system, so they're already in that top 2. Yeah. So 1 and 2 is very interchangeable.
Yeah, you can argue it. I don't even mind. You can argue.
Go. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
You can go first this time. I went first in case.
I mean, I kind of figured you have Embiid at number 1.
I don't. I have Embiid number 2.
All right, I have Embiid number 1. That's perfect. Okay. So you said Embiid top of your list earlier, so I was like, okay, Embiid's number 1 in my list. Jokic is number 2, but I really don't care if you have Jokic number 1.
Yeah, I feel like them two just so. Yeah, they just
right. But this is why I gave the slight edge to Embiid. I just feel like,
I just changed it. When I was changing Clint Capella and 18, I also changed Embiid and Jokic. I was like, yo, you know what? He's MVP. I'm putting him up there. But I go for it.
Yeah. So basically, Embiid. I feel like Embiid. We still haven't seen Embiid's full offensive potential, in my opinion, and this is why. yes, he struggled with injury, but he still showed a lot last year. MVP candidate. I feel like he would have won MVP if he did not get injured. I feel like that kind of derailed his MVP candidacy. Number 1 seed in the league. He just hasn't been able to play to his preference, mainly because Ben Simmons doesn't take 3-point shots. And I always mention this, but in an interview they asked about Embiid's 3-point shooting and why he practices it. And Embiid said, "Oh, I know I don't even like shooting threes at all. Like I like just going in and dominating, but I shoot threes because the offense needs it." So he's kind of playing outside of his comfort zone, and we're already seeing this MVP candidate.
Outside his comfort zone.
Exactly. Outside of his comfort zone, kind of adjusting. Jokic is obviously the better playmaker, but I think Embiid, is, he's first team all defense, or is he first team or second? I believe he was first team this year.
First team all defense.
So he's first team all defense. Jokic, he's not that great defensively. Obviously, miles ahead of Embiid in terms of playmaking. So I'll just cancel those two out. But we've seen Jokic like in a pick and roll. They try to get the switch on Jokic, and they just kind of give him a hezzy and blow by him every time.
Mm-hmm.
So B-ball breakdown, make a video about that. Like that's one of the reasons why they picked up Aaron Gordon, because Aaron Gordon is very quick. He's going to guard the 4, so he's going to be down in the block most of the time, kind of recover and help Jokic.
Yeah.
That's why they kind of picked up Aaron Gordon. But yeah, I gave Embiid the slight advantage because defensively, and I feel like his offensive potential. I would say Jokic is better than Embiid offensively, just because it's so hard to predict what Jokic is gonna do, because we've never seen a center that's able to do what Jokic does.
Yeah, I was like, bro, this guy even fucking plays center. This guy's like a shooting guard, a center at times, a power. Yeah. What the fuck does this guy do?
And it works, like it works like magically. Like it's so fun to watch Jokic like dismantle everyone's defense.
Dude, it's insane. Like this guy's playing like a point guard at the same time, throwing some crazy passes behind him. You show that behind him?
He's just so unpredictable. He's so unpredictable. But I think Embiid offensive potential isn't fully unlocked yet, just because he isn't playing. But I feel like last year, Embiid kind of struggled. A lot of people had Embiid a lot lower last year. Embiid only averaged 22 points, right? And it's because the spacing was horrific. Like,
I remember.
He had to play with Al Horford at the 4, right? Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson was probably their best shooter. They didn't even have Seth Curry or Danny Green.
Yeah.
But we've seen this year, when you build a team that's somewhat competent around Embiid, you put Seth Curry, a shooter, to give Embiid more spacing. You put Danny Green, another shooter. We like to give Danny Green shit, but he's a 40% career.
Yeah, he's a crazy good shooter, dude.
And you're giving Embiid all this space, and we've seen an MVP level. So if you replace Ben Simmons with a point guard that fits Embiid play style, we might see a more.
We might see a 40-point game nights just from him every night, dude.
Yeah, we could see like a 33, 34 point average. In my personal opinion, I know that's a bold statement because not a lot of players, especially centers, like the last center that averaged 34 points, like was fucking Wilt Chamberlain. I don't think Shaq even averaged 34.
Yeah, I think he's averaged like I remember prime Shaq averaged 30 points a game.
Yeah, so I mean, Joel has more versatility than Shaq because of his 3-point shooting. Obviously not as dominant. Shaq was fucking crazy, but I feel like Embiid can average 30 plus and have another MVP season.
Most definitely.
He's doing that with playing with his second best player compatible. So now if you find someone who's compatible with his game, I feel like it can elevate him even higher. So that's why I feel like Embiid slightly above Jokic, but I'm not gonna really,
Yeah.
Either one's cool with me as long as you don't have Dwight Howard number 1 right now.
I have Jokic at the 1. I feel like Jokic really, really dominated. Somehow he dominated even more when Murray got injured. I feel like he was like, "Yo, I have to do almost everything," which is like really, really shine his playmaking style. I feel like when it was Jokic and Embiid in the rich MVP, I personally thought Embiid might win it, but they voted on Jokic, so I guess Jokic wins MVP. But it was really crazy to see that the MVP was down to 2 centers. That was what's crazy. From past MVPs, it was Giannis.
I don't even remember the last time that happened, bro.
Yeah, it says the last time it happened was back in 1999 and 2000 season.
Yeah.
When Shaq won, right? But Nikola Jokic, obviously, he was one of the
Bro, I thought you said the N bomb, bro. You said Nikola. I was like, wait a minute, you said the N word.
Yeah. Nikola Jokic, right? He was lucky to be blessed. Not lucky to. He was. I mean, obviously not gonna win. He's blessed to have been able to play every single game of the season. Did not get injured at all. Right? Took very, very good care of the ball. I think he he averaged 26, 11, and 8 as a big man. Don't even want to call him a big man. This guy literally did everything. He also he was at 57% from the field, 39 from the three, 87 from the free throw. Fucking crazy. Averaged 16 triple doubles, right? And his best game in the season of all the playoffs was 32. He averaged 30. He had 32 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists, which is insane in my opinion for a big man to be averaging 10 assists. Obviously 32 points is crazy.
That was against the Suns, right?
Yeah, I think second round.
I remember Deandre Ian was like, "Shit, that's the MVP, man. Like, what am I supposed to do?"
Yeah, like I feel like Jokic, like for me, yeah, like I said, Joel Embiid was my number one. Like until literally 10 minutes before, I was like, yo, I'm just like switched on because I feel like, he did win MVP for a reason. He did bring the fucking Nuggets. I thought Jamal Murray injured, he was gonna be done. Like, okay, what are you gonna do? Fucking
kept the team afloat, man.
Yeah, but he did not let them die. He eliminating the fucking Blazers. Oh my god, I was like, Dame dropped 55 points, and somehow Jokic still somehow fucking won that game. That was insane, in my opinion.
I think it just shows more that like Dame's team is not ready. Like they really need him because like you might think like, oh, maybe it's just because this Nuggets team is just really good, right? But they got swept.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not discrediting the Nuggets for beating the Blazers, but it just shows that the Blazers really need help because
they need help. They've been at we talked about they've been at the 7th, 8th seed the entire fucking time. Like what? We need some changes, right? But yeah, MVP Nikola Jokic as my number one top best center in the NBA at the moment. Right neck and neck with Joel Embiid, but yeah, crazy, dude, crazy. Man, I really thought Joel Embiid would be MVP, but it doesn't matter, man.
Yep. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up, right?
Yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. Yeah. Any last comments? You're getting ready to go watch the game?
Yeah, bro. I'm about to go dash home to watch the,
go pick up some Hainan chicken. I was kidding.
You gotta get some lunch right now.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, let's wrap this up and then we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll go grab some lunch. We'll discuss more, and then you guys will expect what we got for our next podcast. Stay tuned. All right, for sure.
Let us know if you have, Mason Plumlee in your top 10 or anything.
Don't say that, bro. If you have Mason Plumlee in your top 10 and you post on the comments, I'm blocking you.
Hey, if you have any disagreements, let us know though. Like, love to hear it.
I swear to God, one of you guys like, yo, Rudy Gobert number 1 on my list. That guy named MVP, bro.
Yeah, let us know if you got any like disagreements, and then stay tuned. We got power forward, small forward, shooting guard, point guard, coming up in the next couple weeks or so. So
yeah, you guys take care. You guys have a good time. Hope you guys enjoy the summer league, and let's get some lunch, Anthony. All right, peace.